Good evening and welcome to the Kohelet Yeshiva Gala. Thank you for joining us tonight to pay tribute to our incredible honorees and to celebrate Kohelet Yeshiva. Tonight is about celebrating the members of our community who light the way for our school each and every day. I'm honored to introduce Dr. Andrew Paris, President of the Kohelet Yeshiva Board of Directors.
Thank you, Mrs. Trudler. I'm delighted to be a part of this gala, which is paying tribute to such incredible honorees. While I will leave it to others to highlight our honorees' accomplishments, I do want to express my own hakarat hatov for all that Rabbi Perl, Mrs. Perl, Dr. Goldman, Dr. Friedman, and Dr. Bender have done to support our school. On a personal note, as the board president, I want to acknowledge that working so closely with Rabbi Perl has been a phenomenal experience, and I wish him nothing but success in his future endeavors. This past year has been a watershed year in the world of education, and even more so at Kohelet. On top of all of the COVID-related changes that have occurred, the board has been hard at work restructuring the leadership of the school. As we look to next year, we have hired Rabbi Noam Stein to be the principal of our high school and Mr. Alan Jaffe to be our executive director. Collectively, Rabbi Stein, Mrs. Trudler, and Mr. Jaffe will make up our new Kohelet leadership team. This new leadership model will allow each division to develop independently while also recognizing the vision of a comprehensive K-12 yeshiva day school. We have also been hard at work on creating a budget that will allow us to hold tuition steady for the second year in a row, while also funding new faculty positions and key initiatives. Stay tuned for announcements throughout the summer to learn about all of the exciting additions that the leadership team has in store for next year. We'll continue to do our part, but tonight I want to thank you for doing yours. Thank you for supporting Kohelet. I want to express my personal and board gratitude to the Magerman and Seligson families for providing the school with a strong foundation as well as future financial stability. At the same time, ours is a school built on hundreds of donations each year. From EITC to Parnas Hayom, to our continuity campaign, to this gala, we rely on everyone's generosity to make this outstanding yeshiva education accessible to hundreds of students every year. Thank you. And with that, I'd like to turn things over to one of my predecessors, Scott Seligson.
As one of the school's founding families, I am so proud of how we have grown. Over a decade ago, I had the privilege to serve as president of the board and was deeply involved with the move and development of our magnificent campus in Marion. I know firsthand what it takes to support and run an enterprise like this, and I can proudly say I am in awe of how it has blossomed. Under normal circumstances, it is challenging enough to deliver excellence in education, let alone a dual curriculum, nuanced, modern Orthodox education like this. I now live in Israel, where most schools were shut down for months, and families and their children really struggled to adjust. I can't tell you how impressed I was and am with our professional and lay leadership and with our medical advisory committee, which not only kept the doors open, but allowed learning to flourish. Kol hakavod. Rabbi and Mrs. Perl, you arrived at just the right time, and you have elevated everyone in our community with your vision and leadership to create, to teach, and to inspire all of us. I have no doubt that you will continue to do so for others. And I wish you both only continued good health, mazal uvracha. Thank you for your friendship and for raising the bar for all of us to reach. I am very excited for the future of our school and its incoming leadership. May we continue to go from strength to strength. Mechayo lechayo. Thank you.
Dr. Paris and the board encountered an array of challenges over this past year, and they met those challenges and ensured that our school would persevere and emerge stronger than before. Whether it was COVID-19, a transition on our administrative team, or meeting the strategic needs of our school, the members of the board rose to those challenges. These are all volunteers, each of whom has taken on an additional job. And while they're not being paid, I'm confident they will get their schar, their reward from Hashem, for all they do out of the goodness of their heart. We are deeply indebted to the Perls for their immeasurable and seemingly endless contributions to our school. And I know you join me in wishing them nothing but continued success. We will miss them greatly as they head to South Florida. Fortunately for all of us, Rabbi and Mrs. Perl are leaving Kohelet Yeshiva in a terrific place as we begin this new exciting chapter for our school. While I will continue to serve as principal of Kohelet Yeshiva Lab and Middle Schools, we are extremely fortunate to welcome two new talented individuals to our Kohelet Yeshiva leadership team. Rabbi Noam Stein, who will be serving as principal of the high school, and Mr. Alan Jaffe, who will serve as executive director. Rabbi Stein, Alan, and I are excited to build upon the strong foundation of excellence for Kohelet Yeshiva and work for what is sure to be a bright and promising future for our growing and thriving school community. This past year was fraught with challenges for all of us, and it was particularly challenging for our school. The pandemic forced us to reassess how we do things and compelled us to undertake a series of measures and implement protocols that none of us had ever contemplated before. One day in the future, we should all look back on this year and remember proudly how we came together to meet our goal of opening schools safely and keeping it open safely during the pandemic. Needless to say, our ability to remain open and provide our children with in-person learning did not simply happen on its own. Our teachers are amazing and dedicated teachers. They are the frontline workers of our school. Maura Jamie Fuller from K1 reflected that when thinking about this past year, it feels like looking through a kaleidoscope, an ever-changing and surprising perspective. Our teachers learned how to teach with masks to students 6 feet apart in class, from home to children in school, from school to children at home, and sometimes variations of those two scenarios. This required them to adapt to ever-changing circumstances by employing new and innovative teaching techniques, and to open their classrooms to you and your families. It is because of our teachers, the environment that they created in their classrooms, and their investment in our children, that despite COVID, our students continued to happily come to school every day this year. To my fellow administrators, you are superheroes. You showed unparalleled bravery, courage, and kindness this year in the fight against our arch enemy, COVID. You became experts essentially overnight in all things related to running a school during a pandemic. We made it through this year successfully as a result of the tireless effort, creative thinking, deep care, and positive energy you brought to school every single day. Please rise, even though you're at home, and give our teachers and administrators a standing ovation. Our parents played a major role in our ability to stay open, contributing to our COVID relief fund, checking for symptoms, keeping your children home when necessary, taking them for COVID tests, following COVID protocols out of school, and helping your children learn from home are things that we counted on our parents to do each and every day this year. We were touched by your acts of kindness, whether it was building tents for outdoor learning, teacher appreciation gifts, and perhaps most importantly, the heartfelt notes of appreciation that you sent us time and time again. Our parents have been and continue to be our partners. We could not have gotten through this year without them. Then there are our students, our children. They embodied what perseverance and flexibility is all about. Our students had to wear masks, adapt to special distance learning schedules on Zoom, figure out how to pivot from in-person learning to at-home learning, and most devastatingly come to terms with the reality of extracurriculars like sports this year. It was our amazing students who reminded us every single day why all of our hard work was worth it. It was our students who motivated us to do everything necessary to keep school open by telling us that actually being in school was the best part of school this year. Thank you to our parents and students. There are many additional members of the Kohelet team who came to school every day with smiles on their faces and a seemingly endless desire to do whatever was necessary. Specifically, thank you to the Omnicomp team for ensuring that we had the technology we needed, it was working, and that we knew how to use it. And Mr. Schofield and your team, we could not have gotten through this year without you. David and Deborah have, time and time again, supported our school. This year, David and Deborah graciously made sure we had the technological tools we needed to ensure that learning could continue whether students and teachers were at home or in school. We are so grateful to the Magermans for their benevolence and for their ongoing support of our school. I came across a math problem for 2021. How many days does Peggy have to quarantine if Johnny tested positive on the 13th and came in contact with Peggy on the 10th, but Peggy only found out that Johnny is positive on the 17th, and they were 5 feet away from each other, and Johnny was wearing his mask over his nose, but Peggy pulled hers down to take a drink, and she was already had her first vaccine, but thinks she may have had COVID last year because she lost her sense of smell. And her brother tested positive on the 10th, but she tested negative on the 9th. Thank God our medical advisory committee, along with Nurse Jessica and Rabbi Perl, have been working all year to solve variations of this problem and keep us prepared and safe in school. As we began navigating the unknown and working to create a safe school environment during COVID, one person who stands out for her tenacity is Miss Jessica Rose, who we lovingly refer to as Nurse Jessica. Nurse Jessica handled every challenge that she encountered, and believe me when I tell you that there were many, with a degree of calm and expertise that made everything seem less frightening and more manageable. She virtually did it all, breaking it to parents that their child had to go home because they have symptoms, walking parents through the process of getting their child tested, teaching children about COVID protocols, and conducting antigen testing. All of this on top of her regular nursing duties, like fixing a scraped knee and giving ice packs. Over the past year, Nurse Jessica has been available day and night, and we are thankful to have her by our side as we go and navigate this year during the pandemic. Rabbi Perl and the MAC, as we often refer to the Medical Advisory Committee, illuminated our eyes. They took darkness and unpredictability and shined a much-needed light for us through their incredible leadership, forethought, and science. Under the leadership of Rabbi Perl, the Medical Advisory Committee was formed to lead our Kohelet community in making difficult decisions based on science that enabled us to be successful in our most important goal, to keep our campus open safely during the pandemic. Tonight we pay tribute to our amazing Medical Advisory Committee, which consists of 3 highly respected physicians from our parent body, each of whom possess unique experiences and expertise in the areas that are facing us, and each of whom is incredibly committed to the well-being of our children and our school community. Dr. Irit Razuli, who chairs the committee, is a pediatrician at CHOP and an instructor of pediatrics at Penn Medical School. Dr. Razuli has expertise in clinical epidemiology and serves as a core faculty member in the Center for Pediatric Clinical Effectiveness and in CHOP's Department of Biomedical and Health Informatics. Dr. Brenda Bender is a pediatric ER physician at DuPont Hospital for Children and has served as the camp doctor at Camp Morishah for over a decade. Dr. Elliot Friedman brings expertise in adult health and specifically in COVID-19, as he is a board-certified adult internist and a highly regarded critical care pulmonologist in the mainline health system, who has been at the forefront of our community's fight against COVID in our region. The Kohelet Yeshiva community is deeply indebted to Dr. Irit Rasuli, Dr. Brenda Bender, Dr. Elliot Friedman, for their countless hours that they graciously devoted to our school and for their tremendous efforts on behalf of our children.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Bobby.
Hello.
Introduce yourself. What's your field of medicine? Where do you work? And how long have you been doing it?
I am the school nurse, and I've been a school nurse this will be my 4th year. I've been a nurse for about 7 years.
I am a pulmonologist, and I work at a nearby hospital and a member of the Kohelet community.
I'm a pediatric emergency room doctor. I work at A. DuPont Hospital for Children, which is a level 1 trauma center.
I'm a pediatrician and a researcher at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
Why did you feel compelled to step up and help the school?
Dr. Paris and Rabbi Perl asked if I would consider participating in the medical advisory committee.
When Rabbi Perl calls you and asks you to step up, it's hard to say no.
I felt it was very important for me to apply what I had learned from the pandemic to try to do our best to keep the school open.
How has the pandemic affected your work in the past year?
I got to see firsthand what the pandemic brought on our community.
It's also gotten me into a different area of nursing with contact tracing and learning more about viruses.
I don't think there's any way to calculate how much work everybody did to make this happen. But I also don't think we knew how much fun you would have, right? How good has it been to be in school?
Pretty fun.
Pretty good, right?
When it all started, we didn't know what to expect. We spoke about whether we should even come home. Myself and colleagues, should we get hotels? Maybe it's too dangerous to go home.
What was it like balancing your work life and your home life and also being a medical advisor for Kohelet?
It was busy, it was stressful. I'm sure you guys could say you feel I wasn't there, I wasn't home enough, or even if I was home, I was on a Zoom after Zoom after Zoom.
Being the first nurse, it's been a challenge, but also at the same time, I think it's brought me closer to a lot of families and kids.
Our primary goal was, keeping everyone safe and being able to keep the school open.
Why did you choose Kohelet for our family?
Because Kohelet's amazing, and they share the same beliefs and values that we do.
I identify very much with the vision of the school that provides an excellent education.
And to be part of a community that has really prioritized the education, the chinuch of our children, even when it was really, really hard.
So we have a small surprise for you. We all signed a scrub shirt and we wanted to give them to you.
This is something that Kohelet students made for you for everything that you did during the pandemic.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, medical advisory.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Whoa, that's close enough.
Rabbi, no, you forgot. We're allowed to be 6 feet apart, right? This is totally more than 6 feet. We use this stick to measure our distances at school. We had our distance dots on all the floor. I think you can take it easy with some of that equipment you've got there.
I guess so. We are 6 feet apart, and so I guess we probably don't need that. And let me just start over here.
Rabbi, no, listen. You don't have to do that either. The sanitation crew and the cleaning staff have made sure our building was safe and clean all year long. I think we have to remember what a wonderful year we've had together in school learning.
And it's become a habit at this point in time. All the COVID protocols that we do, I do it instinctively nowadays. My son was taking a bath the other night, and he had all of his toys lined up physically distant from each other. And he said, hey, they're socially distanced.
It's amazing. I mean, the kids really have risen to the challenge of this year. All of our high school students have been so good about wearing their masks and maintaining distance. Speaking of masks, Rabbi, I think you can take off the face shield and the gloves. Like, we're doing a really good job this year, and we're at a point where I think safety is still prioritized, but we can be a little closer together.
I guess I could take these gloves off also. You know, I can't believe we managed to remain open and in person this whole year. If you would have told me last August that we'd be on Zoom only a few times, only proactively, as a preventative measure, I wouldn't have believed you, but yet, here we are.
It's been amazing. And what's I think even more impressive is that our students and teachers were able to get back to doing the things that they do best, which is teach and learn. You know, Rabbi Perl and the Medical Advisory Committee worked so hard to make sure our school could be open. And it's been an unusual year, but the Kohelet students are right where they should be in terms of their academics.
I know, it's great. It's a shame we weren't able to have our normal programming and we couldn't do sports for most of the year, but we still found a way to connect, inspire, and grow our community in different ways. Our programming team, Rabbi Gordon, Mr. Wanagorio, Mora Eliyah, worked really hard to provide other opportunities for students to grow religiously, socially, and personally.
Yeah, no, it's been an amazing year, and we've all really come together and made this year as great a year as we could. And the light at the end of the tunnel is in sight. I mean, every faculty member almost is vaccinated. In fact, you and I are both vaccinated, and I think we can be safely mask-free for the remainder of this presentation. It feels good to see my own face. I'm sure it'll be good to see yours.
I can't even remember that I was wearing this. I'm so used to wearing it, I drive home with it, wearing it all the time. I'm proud of everybody too. Our faculty and staff did incredible jobs, facing incredible challenges and uncertainty with grace and poise.
Yeah. It really has been an unforgettable year, and it wouldn't have been possible without the work from Nurse Jessica, Rabbi Perl, the Medical Advisory Committee. They put in so many hours so that our teachers and students could do what they do best, teach and learn.
And we are so grateful to Rabbi Perl for the dreams he envisioned and created, and for Mrs. Perl for her open ear and deep care for every single person in this community. Their leadership may be something we take for granted because they're so tireless and consistent. It's easy to count on both of them putting in countless hours to make sure that every possible contingency has been considered and thought through.
Yeah, I mean, the future of Kohelet Yeshiva is bright, and I'm so excited for what's coming next. But the school wouldn't be the place it is today without Rabbi and Mrs. Perl, and they are definitely going to be missed.
So before we invite Rabbi and Mrs. Perl each to speak, we told them that we would be interviewing them for this event, but instead we set up a small surprise.
Have you guys here?
You didn't think we were going to give you a traditional, boring video. I drove here because I wanted to say in person, thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for me, my family, for the school, for the community, and for Jewish education. With your leadership and guidance, you brought the best out of me. And I'm not the only one who wanted to say something.
We were honored to welcome both of you to Philadelphia as the chairs of your transition committee. From the beginning, you both wowed the parents and the community with your tremendous intellect, your vision for Kohelet, and your passion for educating our next generation.
I was thinking back to where we were, let's say 12 years ago, and I bought the building, and we were looking to put a school in, and we were making a community, and that we thought that you were a couple that could come here and make it a reality. And look at what we built.
You are leaving here with an incredible legacy.
Melissa, a great leader sees the potential in everyone around them and cultivates that potential into growth and action.
Mrs. Perl, throughout my years at Kohelet, you continuously pushed me to grow, believing in me even when I did not believe in myself.
You care so much about the growth of everyone around you and have set an example of striving to always reflect and better ourselves at everything that we do.
Melissa, with your deep care for every person, no matter what, you'd easily spend 3 hours inconveniencing yourself to save someone else 3 minutes of a minor hardship. You never need credit or recognition. We're happy to share the success and always quick to take on the blame.
Rabbi Perl, I saw firsthand your determination, vision, creativity, ingenuity, sheer grit, and really the way you pay attention to every detail. It helped make our school what it is.
Gil, you're the definition of a roa es hanolad. You taught us to challenge the status quo even when it's good. You led by example, helping make your employees great and getting them to even higher heights than they could have imagined them achieving on their own.
Rachel and I are so grateful that we got to spend the last 2 years together with you guys.
Your tremendous work ethic and your commitment to excellence was always evident in everything each of you did. Wherever we went, people would ask us, "Where do your children attend day school?" And we would say, "Kohelet." And they would say, "Is that where the Perls are?" Your talents are known far and wide throughout the Jewish world, and we were extremely fortunate to have you here.
I'm just so grateful to you for all the effort you put in.
You came here and you said that it was possible to start a school from scratch. You have had such an impact on all of us. You've helped us build our community and our school.
I just wanted to let you know how proud we are of your contributions to Jewish education and the Jewish community at large.
Gil, I realized when you were only 16 that you were destined for Jewish leadership. While you were too busy with your extracurriculars to attend class, Melissa was studiously taking copious notes from which you studied for exams. A match made in heaven. You have both positively impacted every Jewish community in which you've lived, and we couldn't be prouder as your parents.
Was those few teachers you have that stick with you. You are two of the best teachers I've ever had the pleasure of working with.
It's been an amazing experience working with both of you for the past 7 years.
You were always there for us. Rabbi Perl, Ishto Kigufo.
Both of you always strive to understand the world beyond your own existence and beyond our community.
When you love something, it doesn't feel like work. And I love coming to work every day.
You guys are true models of total leadership in our community, and we thank you for everything.
Thank you so much for inspiring a community.
You should be so proud of what you've accomplished. And as a parent, I'm so appreciative of what you've done for my family.
Thank you for everything you have taught me.
Thank you for everything you've done for our community.
We love you and wish you haslacha rabah as you go out into yet another community, seeking once again to educate Jewish youth and change the face of 21st century Jewish education.
But before you leave, if you could do us the honor of concluding just one last Kohelet Yeshiva Gala.
In 1995, André Comte-Sponville, a modern French philosopher, compiled his thoughts in a book entitled A Small Treatise on the Great Virtues. He identified 18 virtues that direct what man should do in order to lead a fulfilled and meaningful life. Although I expected that his list would include qualities such as compassion, courage, justice, generosity, and mercy, I was a bit surprised when he also listed gratitude as one of the most important virtues that a person should cultivate. For while I was raised to recognize the importance of acknowledging when someone has done something nice or kind, I wasn't sure that I understood how that appreciation would cause me to lead a more fulfilled life. Perhaps we can determine the significance of gratitude, and by extension, why it is such a critical element to living a virtuous life, by examining the trajectory of the Jewish people throughout their time in the Midbar. Despite their miraculous salvation from Egypt and their unprecedented experience of divine revelation, at the beginning of their time in the desert, they couldn't bring themselves to trust or depend on God, and they resented the relationship that He was trying to create with them. This Shabbos, we will read about one instance of this behavior. Bnei Israel cried and bemoaned that they could no longer eat the vegetables and fish that they were given in Egypt, and instead could only eat the man. They said, "Zacharnu et hadaga asher nochal b'Mitzrayim chinam, et hakishuim, ve'et havatichim, ve'et hachatzir, ve'et habetzalim, ve'et hashumim, ve'ata nafshenu yevesha, ein kol bilti el haman einenu." We remember the fish that we ate in Egypt for free, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic, but now our souls are dry. The only thing we have is the man. Instead of appreciating the gift that God was giving them, they cried about missing their life in Egypt. Whether we explain this like Rashi, that they longed for a life free of mitzvot, or like Ramban, who indicates that they didn't trust that Hashem would continue to provide for them. At this point, Bnei Israel were not comfortable releasing control of their own destiny and depending upon God for their sustenance. After 40 years of wandering in the desert, it seems as though the people finally learned the importance of recognizing that it was Hashem who was sustaining them. But as they were about to leave the desert and enter the land of Israel, they faced another challenge. Would they be able to recognize that they were dependent upon God even when his actions were less overtly miraculous? Would they appreciate that their achievements came from God even if they no longer had direct access to him? In anticipation of this, Moshe warns them that they cannot believe that their own success are merely a result of their actions. He tells them that Hashem is about to bring them into a wonderful, fruitful land where they will experience agricultural, political, and economic success. But without the outright miracles that God had provided for them in the desert, he feared that they could easily attribute their success to their own strengths and could become arrogant and haughty as a result. He therefore tells them that they must actively cultivate the character trait of gratitude and must recognize that it is God who gives them the strength to succeed. When we examine the messages of this story, we can gain an understanding of why gratitude is such a critical value. Fundamentally, a person is not an island and does not live in a vacuum, but instead is part of a community. It is true that his individual actions are important, and he must always strive to act with kindness, thoughtfulness, and dignity. However, we can learn from Moshe's words that man can only experience true joy, fulfillment, and meaning when he's able to see beyond himself. Once he understands that his own actions are not the sole reason why he is experiencing success, he can begin to recognize the countless ways in which other people have enriched his life. And once he abandons the futile notion that he has exclusive control over his destiny, he can come to understand that he is ultimately infinitely better, wiser, more knowledgeable, and more successful as a result of the relationships he has with those around him. And so, while this evening of tribute may have originally been designed to express appreciation for that which we have done throughout our time at Kohelet, I'd like to use it as an opportunity to express my profound gratitude for all the people in the Kohelet community who have made me better, wiser, and more knowledgeable over the past 7 years, and who have, as a result, contributed to my own personal growth and development. Most importantly, I begin with my students. But oh my goodness, there is so much to say. Whether the everyday moments where we pile into my office to talk, to laugh, to rant, or to cry, or the life-changing moments when we dig deep during a conversation at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Shabbaton. It is you who continuously spur me to reflect on who I am as an educator and to grow as a person. You are fiercely passionate, and as such, every day becomes an adventure as you try to figure out who you are, what you believe, and who you want to be. The tears and the laughter, the frustrations and the triumph, the anger and the joy. The individual moments that we have shared, whether in a classroom debating issues surrounding morality, ethics, and Hashem's expectations of us, around the table in my office learning a sefer or discussing philosophical ideas, or on the floor dealing with whatever crisis has just emerged. You continuously fuel me, enrich me, and enlighten me with your questions, your insights, and your willingness to work on yourselves. I know that there are times when I drove you too hard in class, gave you too much work, or expected more from you than you expected from yourself. But please know that it came from a place of love, as what I want most for you is that you learn to recognize your own self-worth and that you harness your own strengths to push yourself beyond what you ever imagined you could accomplish. You help ground me, center me, and keep me focused. You are the soul of this institution, and figuring out how to promote your intellectual, religious, and spiritual growth is at the heart of what motivates us all to continuously strive to improve. My fellow faculty members, your dedication to your students, your desire to see them grow and advance, and your passion for your discipline is a daily inspiration. While I know that the hundreds of meetings that we may have had have not really been your favorite part of the Kohelet experience, the work that you have produced at these meetings has served to move the school forward in terms of curriculum, goal setting, teaching methodologies, and religious inspiration. You give of yourself at all hours and at all times. Your care and concern for the success of your students, your willingness to reflect on the art of teaching so as to make your lessons clearer and to perfect your craft, and your delight at challenging your students to learn more and to work on becoming Ovdei Hashem permeate every aspect of Kohelet. You infuse the environment with excitement, enthusiasm, and a desire for intellectual and spiritual growth. You plant seeds every day, and I have no doubt that the love with which you till the soil and water the ground will bear fruit for many generations to come. I am part of an exceptional administrative team who care deeply about the academic, social, emotional, and religious well-being of every individual student. Becky, Michal, and David, I've learned so much from watching your commitment to your students, your enthusiasm about educating children, and your overall attention to detail. You have built a school from the ground up that started in a storefront and that is now bursting out of a beautiful new building. You put children first, and you are dedicated to creating an environment that fulfills the very essence of the mission and vision of the school. Aaron and Jeremy, you are each exceptional individuals who have the unique ability to not only educate your students, but to inspire them to want to be people they couldn't imagine they might become before they met you. Jeremy, you understand the mind of the adolescent, and you gently shape that mind by encouraging critical thinking, character development, and leadership. You bring a sense of calm and stability to a frenetic and frenzied world, and your presence inspires confidence and exudes compassion. You are dedicated to building people up and to giving them what they need to push themselves to ever greater heights. And beyond putting up with my compulsive need for organization and color coding, you also make sure that I don't take myself too seriously and that I consider multiple perspectives before making a decision. I have personally been the beneficiary of your wisdom and want to express my profound gratitude for all that you have done for me and for the school community. Aaron, you want nothing more than to inspire our students to connect to Judaism. You put your entire self into creating meaningful programming that contributes to their library of moments and that facilitates their profound connection to Hashem. Over the past 7 years, I've seen you grow and evolve as a teacher, as an administrator, and as a person. As a teacher, you create a rigorous classroom environment that exposes your students to the beauty of Torah while inspiring them intellectually and giving them the confidence and the desire to learn on their own. As an administrator, you ensure that the student experience is at the center of all that we do, and you bring your whole self into whatever you create for them, whether it's fun, meaningful, or inspiring. Your energy, passion, and commitment to Torah has enriched our institution, has changed the lives of our students, and has consistently inspired me to want to become a better person. Working together with both of you has been an absolute privilege. Our strengths complement each other while compensating for our individual weaknesses. Your selfless dedication to working towards the betterment of the students, the teachers, and the school community is unparalleled. and is something that I will miss on a daily basis. And finally, to my dear husband, it is your vision, your dedication, and your unwavering commitment to building a school and a community that we are celebrating tonight. You are a deeply principled individual who sees a need and then approaches the fulfillment of that need with intense creativity, coupled with profoundly systematic and logical thinking. It is a unique blend of character traits that I have rarely seen in an individual, and it is the hallmark of your leadership. You not only forge new paths, but your words and your actions light the way so that other people want to join you on those paths. Your knowledge, depth of thought, and ability to break down extremely complex ideas into that which is clear and understandable has inspired countless students, teachers, and parents to want to do more and be more than they ever imagined. The coalescence of your brilliance, your ingenuity, your perseverance, and your wisdom has served as a catalyst for change that has ignited the Kohelet community and has forever changed the lives of those around you. And so, to my beloved Kohelet community, thank you for all that you have given me. Thank you for helping me learn and grow and for providing me with countless moments of inspiration and personal development. I am the person I am today, in large part due to the experiences I have had here and the relationships I have formed with each of you. May Hashem watch over you, guide you, and give you the strength to continue to soar to ever greater heights.
Melissa and I are deeply honored and humbled by the tribute that you've paid us here this evening. And I want to begin by thanking those who have been most involved in putting this tribute together, to Amanda, to Leora, to Becky, to Lori, the entire committee, and all those who put in hours to make sure this evening would be as special as it's been. The Mishnah in Pirkei Avos famously teaches us, Ben Zoma said, Ezahu chacham halamed mikol adam. Who is truly wise? One who learns from everyone. And so I ask you to please indulge me for just a few moments as I share with you the life lessons that I have learned from the various people I have been privileged to work with here at Kohelet Yeshiva over the past 7 years. David, you were the first to believe in me. You brought me here. From you, I learned what it means to truly be a giver. And that's a lesson I will not soon forget. Scott, if you recall when I first got here, you were the only one who knew how to update our school's webpage. You were the only one who could change the temperature on our HVAC system. Scott, from you I learned what true generosity is. Not just generosity of one's resources, but generosity of one's time, of one's spirit, of one's heart, and one's soul. Diane, from you I learned what Chazal meant when they said, or perhaps this is a bit of a paraphrase, but B'makom she'ein ish, tishtadli lihyot isha. Where there is no man willing or able to do the job, let a woman step up and show them how it's done. No one was willing to step up when you did, Diane, but you did so as we all might have hoped you would, and the school is forever grateful for it. Andrew, you personify the saying, Tehei me talmidav shel Aaron, ohev shalom, verodef shalom. Be like the students of Aharon, always loving peace and pursuing peace. And because you have done that, our school and our community has flourished as a result. But as much as I've learned from our lay leaders, it pales in comparison to what I have learned from the professionals that I have had the privilege and the honor of working with each and every day for the past 7 years. Miriam, from you, I learned what devotion and dedication looks like, not just to me, but to anyone who came and sought your insight, your wisdom, and your counsel. Dave, you've taught me what it means to be. Dave, you've taught me what it looks like to stand in the line of fire, and to do so with professionalism and with poise. Michal, you've taught me what teamwork in its most pristine fashion looks like, as you have partnered with Becky to achieve the unimaginable. Rabbi Walensky, you have taught me what I think it must have been like to know Rabbi Akiva way back when. Not only because what brings you the most joy in life is the ability to teach Torah to your Talmidim and Talmidot, but because you, like him, underwent a major shift midway through life, and yet in a matter of just a few short years, you've learned to excel in that endeavor. Stuart, I know you're listening. From you, I learned what the phrase means to dance at every chasana. You indeed have danced at everyone's wedding. Not only were you invited to everyone's party, but you have always, well, together with your wife, Julia, been the life of every party. And quite honestly, our party here hasn't quite been the same since you left. Jeremy, you taught me what it means for an institution to be truly mission-driven. Innumerable times over the past few years, you've held a mirror up to us all and reminded us to be true to ourselves and true to who we are. Rabbi Horn, you have taught me to look at a school through the lens of its most important and most precious stakeholders, its students. You've also taught me the great life lesson, always, always, to be ready for a 6-foot exuberant man with no shoes on to burst through your office at any time. Ready, fire, aim. Becky, you have taught me the power of difference. As we've joked about many times over the years, you and I are quite different. And yet, because of a shared vision and a shared sense of purpose, you have enabled me to turn that difference into a source of strength. And it is from that difference and from that strength that a truly special elementary school and middle school has emerged. One which I certainly could never have built on my own. Part of why we've paid tribute this evening to the Medical Advisory Committee and to Nurse Jessica is because for the past 12 months, their Medical Advisory Committee has given hours to this school that far more resemble those of paid employees than those of volunteers. So Irit, Elliot, Brenda, over the past year, you have taught me what it means and what it looks like to have the strength and sensitivity, to have the wisdom and the wariness necessary to make decisions when the lives of others, literally, hang in the balance. Nachrona chaviva, Melissa. I've been learning from you since I studied from your notes in our 9th grade bio class, and I've never stopped. Yet, more than the efficiency and organization, more than the pedagogy and the dedication, what I have learned most from you is the value of love. And here at Kohelet Yeshiva, and in Kohelet Yeshiva High School in particular, the students who have passed through our halls, the students who have dined at our table, the students who have pushed themselves immeasurably in your classes, the students who have sought guidance, wisdom, and solace in your office, know that what you have given them more than anything else is unconditional love. And so on their behalf and on mine, I thank you. While this saying of Ezehu Chacham Halomed Mikol Adam, who is wise, one who learns from everyone, is well known, perhaps less well known is the fact that the Gemara asks the same question in Maseches Tamid and answers the question differently though. There too it asks who is truly wise, and there the answer is haro'eh es hanolad. True wisdom is the ability to see that which is just being born, that which is just being formed, that which isn't fully imagined yet, that which has yet to blossom, but know that it's coming, to be able to see it before it's there. And if there's anything that we have tried to do here at Kohelet over the past few years, it is that. It is to imagine what it is our students need before they need it. It's to imagine where education is headed before it's there. It's to imagine where society is headed, where the Jewish people are headed, where our community is headed, and to incorporate what we could see into what we could build. And so that is my bracha to this incredible institution and incredible community for the years that come. That you not rest on your laurels, that you not focus on where we've been and what we've become, but you continue to pursue the chachma of the nolad, to pursue the wisdom of what is next, what is coming, what this community and what this school can be. And so as I hand the reins of leadership over to Mrs. Trudler, to Rabbi Stein, to Mr. Jaffe, I do so with full confidence that in the coming years I will continue to hear of the incredible successes and the incredible achievements of this school, and I look forward to learning from each and every one of them. Thank you.